Hello and welcome to a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and welcome back to a brand new episode. Yes, I'm back from a week, taking a week off due to a combination of illness, a broken MacBook Pro charger, and just coming back from a week abroad. So all of those three things combined together, excuses, I know, disappointment, and he's wearing glasses inside. What a dickhead.
You're a cunt. You're a cunt now. You've always been a cunt. And the only thing that's going to change is you're going to become an even bigger cunt. Now you have some more cunt kids.
All of these things sums up into a very disappointed audience. I get it. You'll find out why I'm wearing the glasses at the end of the podcast. Stick around to find out that answer. For those who don't really care, it's fun. It's a fun answer. It's a fun thing to find out if you're genuinely interested. If not, no worries. For those just listening, you can't see that, but I am wearing glasses indoors. So, let's jump into the podcast. What's the main thing? What's the main course of this podcast? Well, it's going to be talking about nutrition. It's going to be talking about food. I haven't done a food podcast in a while. I haven't really spoken about food since probably around a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago when I first started the podcast. It was quite early on, so this is nice. Come back, refreshing, and I think it's a really good time to talk about it because I've come back from abroad, a week eating out of my comfort zone in a territory that I can't control, in an environment that I can't control. And I think that's really good for people to understand as well, is that sometimes you don't always have the ability to cook for yourself or have the option. Maybe you're eating your mum's cooking, maybe you're eating out with friends and family, or maybe you're just in an environment which you are unable to cook. All of these things can be a thing. So this is a perfect podcast for you if that is the case. I came back from Spain around 2 kilograms lighter. Now, that isn't healthy in any way, shape or form. So don't ever think that that is a healthy amount of weight to cut within 1 week. It is not. Let me say that again. It is not healthy to cut 2 kilograms within 1 week.
He's out of line, but he's right.
That is due to a combination of severe dehydration, a lack of eating, and increased alcohol, and all-round overdoing it in terms of steps, in terms of exercise, and on top of that, a nice slathering of 30 to 35 degree heat can cause what I presume to be a bad level of weight loss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get addicted to crack? Did somebody get addicted to crack?
So, for you, the listener, for you, the viewer, what can you do to combat this? Maybe not do what I did. Maybe also have a real think about what you're eating throughout the day. I try my best to get as much protein as I can in terms of what is available. So if I see dried cod, I'm going to grab the cod.
Ha! Gay!
Wow, that sounded so wrong. We're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
If there's cod there, we're gonna grab the cod. If there's some sort of meat or some sort of high protein foods, then I will migrate over to there and make the majority of my plate that. I will also look for fruit and vegetables. Like, just salad for me is the most waste of calories that I will ever look at in my life. I think that's also a part of me growing up and not liking salad. I look at it and I just think it's either you're having salad cream with it to make it taste nice, which is just fat, or you're going to have some sort of combination of small foods that they're just a waste, in my opinion. Again, for those who are really into salad, I get it. I'm sorry, you're probably Mediterranean eating. That is a very high part of your diet, in which case I apologize. For those who are into salad, I don't mean to tick people off. It's just not my thing.
You know who invented salad? Poor people.
And so while I was in Spain, that is a big part of it, the massive salad bar with everything there. And so for me, finding broccoli or green beans, or there was one day where they were serving some grilled asparagus, which I was, c'est magnifique, just yes, I'm in for it, I'm there for it. So grilled asparagus was one of them. I was making sure that I was going over to the fruit bar. I was making sure that I was going to get myself some watermelon. I was going to get some pineapple. I was going to get some really nice fresh fruit, and I was eating that every single day. And then I was also going to have myself a pain au chocolat.
Oh, God, it's so good. So good. So good and tasty.
Which, even though it's not exactly good for you, having it every day, but in that case, I was trying to increase my calories, get as many calories in the meals that I did have. And by the end of my trip in Spain, I realized that my hunger signals were going way down. I wasn't as hungry, which is bad, because that's also telling me that I've done something wrong. Because most of the time, because of the amount of exercise and because of the amount of weightlifting I do and running and all of these things and working out every single day, I should be starving 24/7, you know. I should be hungry all the time because of the amount of exercise I do. And it's a negative for me to realize that I'm not hungry. That's worrying. And that is why when you do go into these scenarios, please make sure that you're eating. Make sure you try to eat the good foods. So when I mean good foods, I'm talking about high quality protein, high quality carbohydrates. As you heard a minute ago, pain au chocolat.
Chocolate. I remember when they first invented chocolate. Sweet, sweet chocolate. I always hated it.
You can find some of the high quality, when I say high quality carbohydrates, I'm talking about pastas, rices, we're talking just carbohydrates that you're going to get some sort of nutrients from, micronutrients as well, that you're not going to be just eating pure sugar. That's what I'm trying to get at. We're not just downing orange juice into a cup and just going from it there.
Excuse me, have anybody got any bacalao?
We're trying to find some healthy solutions here. One of those things like that got lied to me very early on in life was like, drink your cup of orange juice, there's vitamin C in there. And you just realize it's just water with sugar. Like, that's all it is. There's no nutrients in there. Maybe there's some vitamin C, but it's such a lie. It tastes amazing, but you realize, like, as an adult, you're like, wow, that is just bullshit on such a high level. There's something the sugar companies were just like, we can sell them with vitamin C. We've got them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
So you've also got to think as well when you're abroad to hydrate. Don't do what I did. I realise now that I should have been drinking so much more water. I did really well in Australia, by the way. When I was in Australia, I think because I wasn't working and I was on actual holiday, I was thinking more towards me, relaxation time, really taking it easy. But when I'm at work, I'm go, go, go. I wanted to get the most out of all the presentations that were there, of all of the events that were going on, talking to all the people, networking as much as I could, and seeing some really awesome people. However, when I go hard, I go to the point where I have to go to bed at like 11. A lot of these people go into bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't do that. Sadly, I'm the guy who falls asleep at the party. I've always been that way. It will always be this way for me, sadly. I will always be that guy who's going to be waking up at 6 or 7 in the morning, but I'm going to bed at like 10 or 11 at night, at max 11 for me personally. Otherwise, I'm Mr. Grumpy from, what was it called? The Mr. Men? The Mr. Men? If you know that reference, Jesus, you're old.
Fuck, you're old.
Fake laugh, hiding real pain.
Oh, hit me where it hurts. Anyway. So, nutrition. Let's get down to the business. So, I've just talked about being out of your comfort zone. Let's talk about being in an environment that you can control day in, day out. Something that I always talk about is finding foods that you love. Don't just eat chicken, broccoli, and rice because everybody talks about it as a nutrition. I will say this until I friggin' die. Don't follow celebrity diets. Don't follow fads. When I talk about fads, I'm talking about diets that cut out food groups. I fell into that trap. There's no point to it. You can lose weight eating every food group, eating to an extent, whatever you like, to an extent. Please keep listening and don't cut this out. This is a big point, is that you're going to have foods that you really love. For me, I've got a sweet tooth. I love sweets. I'm not going to cut out sweets from my diet I am going to be brushing my teeth to make sure that I keep my teeth white, and, you know, in old age, I'm not having, you know, just all gum. The point being is that you need to make sure you're enjoying the food you eat. You know, when people call it a diet, it automatically sets off in my mind. People think of like, oh, I'm going to start eating salad every day. I'm going to start, you know, really cutting down the calories. It's just like, Jesus Christ, please, people, get it together. We got to really think it through here. You got to find foods. So if we're going to think protein, let's say you're a vegetarian and you can't eat meat. You're going to have to find your protein sources somewhere else. Maybe you're pescatarian. You're very lucky. You can eat fish. Then you can focus in on shrimp, super high in protein. King prawns, super high in protein. You can keep going down. You can go cod. You can go salmon with those healthy extra fats. There's so much there. And you can choose what is your favorite. Now, choosing the favorite, you zone in that and you eat it day in, day out. You find a food that you can eat day in, day out. Now, for me personally, I'm a steak guy. I like steak. I like golden cooked steak. It's got like that golden crisp crunch to it, and at the same time, that kind of not pink, but, you know, that medium rare look to it on the inside. So crispy on the outside, nice, and juicy on the inside. Anyway, chicken as well. I can eat chicken. I cook it in a different way. I am someone, again, golden brown, that real crispy chicken, maybe a little bit of barbecue sauce. Yes, I know, sugar. I try to go for reduced sugar sauces when I go for them. So reduced sugar ketchup, reduced sugar barbecue sauce, and, you know, if I'm going to have salad cream, which I don't really have ever anymore, I'm going to go for reduced fat, reduced sugar. All of these things add up at the end of the day. Please keep that in mind. Keep in mind that calories in, calories out do count. Christ, the amount of people nowadays, scientists saying that that doesn't count and it doesn't work is like bollocks. It is absolutely bollocks. It's so crazy that there's people out there saying, yeah, don't count calories. Don't bother doing that. Like, so you're telling me that you, a scientist, are arguing with literal physics of how human body works. You're literally arguing with thermodynamics. You're like, yes, there, I can control that. I have the power of God. It's like, that makes no sense. Oh, people are crazy, man. People are crazy. They really think that they can pull one over you on you. They're like, you know, it's always a massive statement like, this doesn't work. This person's telling you lies. It's crazy. I love watching those videos for a laugh because I think they're hilarious. So back to basics. Like I said, find your favorites of each food group. We're going to go carbohydrates, we're going to go fats, we're going to go proteins, and we're going to quickly mention the most important, macronutrients and micronutrients. Sorry, I should have said micronutrients because the macronutrients is fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Micronutrients you're going to be finding from certain food groups. You're going to be finding vitamin C, ironically. If you eat broccoli, you won't really need to drink orange juice because if you eat broccoli, boom, you get a bunch of vitamin C from it. Vitamin D you can get from the sun, etc. You know, you can find iron from quite a few. Actually, that's a big one there. But iron for me is difficult to find in certain places. You can get it in broccoli, but if you want to get it in big bulks, I normally take a A to Z mineral in the morning to cover all my bases for my micronutrients in terms of stuff that I can't get in my food. What I try to do, sodium as well. I try to put a little bit extra pink Himalayan salt on top of my steak to be able to get that sodium in because I sweat a lot. Therefore, salt is going out, must get it back in. And I also take an electrolyte pill in the morning as well as creatine monohydrate 3,000 milligrams. The creatine monohydrate you don't need to take if you aren't lifting weights. So if you aren't lifting weights, don't worry about that. For those who are lifting weights, it's just a easy way to be able to increase your strength. For me personally, yes, it does add a little bit of water weight to my body, but actually because I'm currently a little bit too light, it's actually quite helpful to have it back in my system. As I said, when I went to Spain, when you can't have access to the stuff that you normally have access to, it's really important when you come back to get back into the swing of things and try and get yourself back in a healthy routine. Sleep as well, all of these things, but nutrients wise, if you focus in, right, on a balanced diet, and when I say balanced, I'm talking about eating your vegetables, eating your fruits, eating your meats, eating your carbohydrates. If you like bread, eat bread. It's fine. If you like potatoes, eat potatoes. If you like rice, eat rice. If you like spaghetti, eat spaghetti. If you like pasta, pasta. Exactly. You see where I'm going here.
He's out of line, but he's right.
You have food groups there that you can choose from. Now, if they sit within your macro/micro/calorie intake, if they suit all of those, eat them. Go for it. Fit them in. Find them. And I'm a big believer in that. But I am a big believer mainly in hitting the healthy micronutrients. If you are eating 5 pieces of fruit and vegetables a day, I stick to that rule. It's a healthy rule. You feel good. You look at the foods you've eaten and they are healthy for you. If you're eating raspberries like I am, you're going to get some healthy fiber. If you're eating an apple, you're going to feel satiated for longer. And also, it's a little secret here, actually resets the taste buds in your mouth a little bit. So if you had something quite powerful, let's say you've had some onions or something on those lines, having an apple can actually reset the taste within your mouth.
Hey, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot.
Still brush your teeth, people, please. But it does help reset a little bit. So keep that in mind. My favourites, so we got green beans, they're really great. Broccoli, really great. Like I said, asparagus earlier. Although if you eat too much of that, that'll turn your piss a different colour. Fun fact.
Well, what about this? A tribe of asparagus children, but they're self-conscious about the way their pee smells.
Yeah, so that's, you got 3 greens there. You got 2 pieces of fruit. Sometimes I'll chuck in a banana. I also really like a fruit salad from time to time, just to chuck it in there. And I'll just go into Aldi and I'll buy one of those little pots of salad. I know, non-recyclable plastics. I know. Nail me to a cross and crucify me now.
Wait, your biggest stickers? Here's of this.
It is what it is. It is delicious. It is great to have some grapes, some pineapple, some apples, some mangoes, all in one little pot, and you just eat it all and you're like, nom, 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 nom. Delicious. And then, what else in terms of fruit? For me, fruit, I could go through a full box of grapes without even thinking about it, so I have to make sure I get those little small boxes of grapes because they're just delicious. 126 calories for one little box is great. It's so good for you as well if you think about the overall macronutrients, micronutrients, and just eating fruit and veg. If you eat 5 pieces of fruit and veg a day, and then you add in your carbohydrates, your fats, your proteins, I promise you now, you're going to have such an easy life. And then when it comes to Friday or Saturday or Sunday, whatever day is going to be for you to have some fun, maybe you're going to go for some drinks with some friends, maybe you're going to go have some ice cream, maybe any of those, you can pick one of those evenings and put it into an evening, or maybe even 2 evenings. And by doing so, by having a healthy diet that's the majority of your time, you can then balance that out with something that will be a little less unhealthy. For me, it's going to be white chocolate licorice oysters. I've talked about this before. Maybe I'm going to have some prawn cocktail crisp. Maybe I'm going to go out for a meal with family, friends, all of these things. It's fine because the majority, the foundation of my food is going to be good for me. And my mornings, my breakfast, I'm going to be having an apple with some protein oats. I'm just going to have peanut butter in it, healthy fats. Going to have a little bit of honey on top. Going to be around 22 grams, so 79 calories, so not too much. Not sugars that are going to kill me either. You've got to think these through as well. The types of sugars that I'm talking about that are going to be unhealthy for you are going to be chocolate. It's going to be sweets. It's going to be any refined sugars that come from somewhere that are manufactured by man, that aren't manufactured by nature. Think of it that way. So if it's made by Earth, then think of it as relatively healthy to some extent. It's going to be relatively good for you. I feel like I'm your dad. I'm telling you these are the apples of the oranges, son.
I didn't ask to be born, Dad!
Oh, dear. So, apart from being a patronising bastard, here's the real sticks of it. Find balance. Find stuff you love to eat. Stick to it and keep a track of your calories. Come on! If you don't track your calories and you tell me it's too much of a fucking effort to do it, you've already lost the fucking battle. I'm sorry for the swearing, but it kills me when people tell me they want to lose weight and they aren't willing to put the effort in of just logging their food. Because Jesus H. Christ, if you don't do it initially, you won't be able to do what I do, where you just eat what you want most of the time. Okay? If you don't do it for a year, I'm talking years here, it's consistency for years. I get frustrated because everybody wants to find the easy way out, and there is no easy way out. The hard route is the success route, and it is the one you should be choosing. You should be choosing the day-to-day grind of eating foods that you like, but are good for you, eating your 5 a day, and not having a big box of biscuits every single day, or having full-fat Coke every single day, or having all of the things that you want to have all the time, like eating donuts every single day, or having things that are bad for you every single day, okay? Put them to one side, put them to a specific day in the week, or maybe 2 specific days in the week where you're going to eat them in one meal. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm saying an extra 1,000 calories, okay? And then keep it in your mind, and your body will, it will become accustomed to it almost. Now, am I saying this is going to work for everybody? No. Some people have this willpower thing that I haven't really heard of it, willpower, and these people somehow are able to keep sweet drawers and boxes of biscuits and all of the nice things in life in their house, and are able to nibble at them a little bit of the day and be able to get away with it. These magical fairy people, this does not apply to you, for you are the lucky ones. For the majority of us who have zero willpower, this applies to you. Please don't keep anything that you would consider cheap foods, and you know what they are. I don't need to tell you them. You know exactly what they are. You think of it in the back of your mind when you've eaten them, and you think how bad they are for you. Don't keep them in the house, okay? Don't keep them in the house. Now that you understand that, if you go out of your way and you really want some, you are going to have to force yourself to walk all the way to the shop to buy them. And mentally speaking, and I'm pretty sure there's some studies out there that have proved this, that it's tougher to do that than it is for you to just walk into your kitchen, open up the cupboard, and get out a big box of biscuits. Okay? So by doing so, you have to force yourself to mentally be able to get over that barrier. And by doing so, you make yourself a little bit more stronger, actually, overall. So keep that in mind. And maybe one day, you won't have to track calories. And you won't have to think about these things, because you're in such a good routine that you've got to the point where food has become fun again. And it no longer looks like a task, like a chore, like it's the end of the world, like it's everything rolling around you, and it's like, oh my God, I can't go without my biscuits. That will be the day that you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I have accomplished my goal. I have become better than I was yesterday. And I have created a great relationship with food. Woo! That is what you're looking for at the end of the day. You're looking for a great relationship with food. Now, I personally feel like I have a fantastic relationship with food. I also have a great appreciation for those who can cook home-cooked meals. That's due to my upbringing. That's also due to being surrounded by friends and family who also love home-cooked food. And for me personally, I think that you can accommodate these home-cooked foods into your macronutrients, etc., and your weekly meals, while at the same time adding in some of maybe the proteins, maybe lower the fats, maybe try and find some alternatives, maybe find ways to get fruit into your diet, maybe find the vegetables. Maybe you're more of a vegetable person, go for the vegetables. Maybe you're a fruit person, maybe you're all of these things. Find them. Find the way that works for you. Find the foods that you enjoy that match the micro, the macro, and the calories overall, and I swear it will melt off you over time. And I'm talking years here. It's not a tomorrow. It's not one of those things that you see on the internet where it's 6 months' time, you're going to be summer shredded, baby. No, it's not going to happen, okay? It's going to be a grind of 2 to 3 years. Get that in your skull. It is not a 1 year thing. It is not a 2 year thing. It's 2 to 3 years of grinding it out, of eating those good foods, of creating a great relationship with food. So, we're nearing the end of the podcast. I think I've summed up my thoughts on food. I think that there's so many foods out there that are great for you. I think there's so much options in life. And if you can find the option that works for you, it's going to be a winner. So for those who stuck around for this long, and for those who are watching rather than listening, you can probably see that, for those who are just listening, that I have extremely bloodshot eyes. And I've had extremely bloodshot eyes for going on around 6 days now. Now, I'm not sure what it is. The doctors don't think it's very serious. They think it's just an eye drops situation. And we will see by the next podcast whether that is a thing or not. Let's hope so. Let's bloody hope so. Because otherwise, it's going to be an A&E situation at some point. I don't feel any pain whatsoever, and I have perfect vision at the moment. But it just makes me look a little crazy. A little crazy. And I think we all know I'm a little nuts anyway. So it's just adding to the physical realm rather than just the metaphorical realm. So, ending there on the podcast. This has been a Taylor's Tales podcast. This has been Chris's Corner. I've been your host, Chris Taylor. And as always, I hope to see you this time next week. Bye now.
So long, gay boys.